I'm here in Plant City, Florida, where we have an exclusive first look at a fish no one's ever seen before. We're gonna go talk to Dave about how they breed these fish and when they're gonna be released. So let's check it out. This is not mine.
Yeah, see, these are the purple glow sharks.
Look how much they stand out in a vat like
Yeah,
this.
I mean, no special lighting. Hey everybody, this is Dave with 5D Tropical and Nautilus Wholesale. We're here today because we're going to be doing a tour of our farm and facility. And one of the big things we're going to be releasing that is just going to be shown to the public this week, starting tomorrow at Global Expo, is a new Glowfish Angel. The first color we're introducing is known as the Starfire Red. This is a project we've been working on for some time. We're really excited about this as a new addition to the line. The facility has been here for well over 40 years. It was started by a gentleman by the name of Joe Diaz. It's called 5D because it's named after his 5 children, the 5 Diazes. 3 of the siblings are still currently here every day working the farm. We're over 260 acres, tons and tons of ponds, aquariums, vats. We produce, we import, we support local farms, and we distribute throughout the U.S. and parts of Canada as well. We're one of the biggest distributors in the United States, as well as we're the only sole producers of the Glowfish in the United States. So these are our rollers. So this is where the fish are going to get collected from the tanks. They go into bags, they go into the carts, and then from the carts they go onto the rollers, where they're going to then get packed up, put into styros are put into cardboard. We put heat and ice on them as needed, depending on where they're going in the country. They also get packed with oxygen.
A lot of people are on break right now.
Yeah,
so we get to
yeah,
see
we're at
the
lunchtime
facility.
now, so it's not quite as crowded as you would normally see. We can have up to 60 or 65 people back here bagging and tagging all day long. But these are all our fish that are tanked, and these are ones that are acclimated. We've got ones that have come in from some of the other ponds and vats.
Tell me your knowledge about goldfish and the misconceptions of them.
Oh, absolutely. Well, to start with the history of it, goldfish have been around for 20 years now. We're actually celebrating the 20th anniversary of them. And it started with the Starfire Red Daniel. The biggest myth and misconception that they have is that people think that these fish are dyed or injected or hormoned. And unfortunately, that was a practice that was very common back in the 80s and 90s, and it's still carried on in some places overseas. A lot of those practices have been banned, but some still occur. The glowfish are 100% naturally bred. They have the Corinefloressence gene, which was bred into them 2 decades ago. And the way you can tell whether a fish is dyed or injected is that the offspring aren't going to have the color. And most of the time, the adults are going to fade out over several weeks or several months. These fish are going to look just like this in a year, 5 years, 8 years from now, throughout their entire adulthood. And when they breed, their offspring are going to carry that gene. The term genetically modified is kind of synonymous with almost sinister is some of the terms I've heard, and that's just not accurate. So it's no different than selectively breeding, not inbreeding, but selectively breeding for other genes. We've seen it with the orange blotch morph and albinism. So this really isn't too different from that. It doesn't impede the fish's ability to live a normal and healthy life. It just is a different color morph. Not too dissimilar from, breeding the different types of goldfish or guppies.
How big is this facility?
So the whole property is over 260 acres. This room alone, we have over 1,400 tanks. I couldn't even tell you how many vats we have throughout the property. It's a lot, I will say that. It took me a few weeks just to learn where everything was. As you can see, we have a variety of everything from, local farm raised, European, Asian farm raised, fish from literally all over the world. Everything you could imagine.
Oh, I love these guppies.
Yeah, I mean,
Blue Moscows.
yeah, the Moscow types have become so popular. And you got so many different variants of those now, but that's like one of the few color morphs that people are now asking for by name. That's become a real diehard hobbyist request, so. The Corinefloressence gene, which is found obviously in corals, it's found in jellyfish, and there are even some freshwater species that have this. Scientists want to learn more about how is it passed on, and how does it develop, and how does it influence behaviors of the fish. When you take a fish that doesn't naturally have a fluorescence gene and introduce it to it, is it going to modify its behavior? And the answer is honestly not really. You watch this tank for any length of time, these angelfish, they've been in here for about a week and a half now. They're exhibiting the exact same behavior as wild strains or captive strains of angels. You watch them, the males will try and court females, they'll spar with each other. Their behavior is completely normal. But, 20 years ago, they want to see what the effects of that are. Well, are they going to be, more shy? Are they going to be more withdrawn, as some recessive genes may exhibit in different types of behavior, and that has not proven to be the case. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw them, I was just like, wow, those are amazing looking. But I'm like, how are they going to act? Are these things going to be hauled in the corner? We had them in the tank for an hour, and we already moved the plants around because some of the males were already starting to kind of, pick a territory. We had to actually add more decorations in there. There is absolutely nothing that has proven that it impedes their ability to live a natural, healthy life and spawn and do everything that angelfish and other members of the goldfish line would do.
Now, the angels aren't specifically here because they're being secretly held, right?
Yeah,
you can't go see that, but we can see some of these red firecrackers. This is some of my favorite fish that I've seen so far here.
Yeah, it's an amazing strain. It really is. And, while you see so many different variants of swordtails, and it's a great community fish, I don't care who you are or what you keep, that's impressive.
Look at that high fin.
Yeah, I mean,
wow. And these are for sale right now.
Oh, yeah. No, everything else you see is available now. The glowfish angels, like I said earlier, those are coming out later this summer.
Now, where can we buy these fish? Can the public buy them, or it's only wholesale?
So we sell to both distributors, wholesalers, and pet stores.
Okay.
So we have different divisions for that. So our 5D division does all, distributors and larger wholesalers, whereas our Nautilus division sells directly to pet stores. So if they're looking to buy smaller quantity lots, the 5D division does, box lots.
Okay.
So much larger quantities for usually wholesalers or very large aquarium stores.
Okay, so let's say I'm watching this video and I want those red firecrackers, I want some of the glowfish later on in the future.
You go to your local fish store and request them, and say you saw them on 5D's video, and then their local wholesaler, or they can even, buy from us.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Start off with the glowfish in general. They were started off to attract children into the hobby. Once it left the scientific community and went into, more the public eye. So that's why you started with the Danios, and then your Tetras, and the Cories, and so on and so forth, because these are smaller, hardier fish that you can keep in a community, right? But we want to see growth beyond that, and I appreciate what they are, because at the end of the day, it's a healthy, hardy fish. They're super attractive, and as I've demonstrated before, you could put these guys especially, that's why we start with the Starfire Red, you can put these under natural light, and they still look amazing. I get that there are people out there that don't like them, don't agree with them. I get it. Everybody's entitled, but there are also people out there who don't like goldfish. Goldfish have been around for centuries. This is getting new, younger generations of the hobby. We're taking generation that is glued to their phones and their screens and their tablets. And now we're showing them something that is in the real world, that's tactile and something that they can get excited about. And while people can have their reserved feelings about aesthetically how they are, there's nothing wrong with them health-wise. But it gets kids into the hobby, and that's where we all started. I started when I was 8 years old with an aquarium. I would have gone nuts for this when I was a kid. Because I had the treasure chest and the castles and everything else under there. I don't care who you are. That's a cool looking fish. The Dumbo ear guppy strain, this has become a real popular one over the last few years. I know when I was running my stores, that was my top seller.
Wow, lots of libraries, folks.
Yeah, that's a really good size on those red tucks down there. Man, those... Okay, yeah, those just came in from one of the ponds.
Speaking of the ponds, you have so many ponds out there.
Yeah, we do. So a lot of them are devoted to certainly the glowfish, but we are starting this summer, we're going to start farm raising a lot more of the common tetras just because the demand has grown so high. And by growing them here, it also allows the opportunity to get them a little bit bigger in size. Because the demand is so high, they sell so fast. So this way we can get ones that are a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier for people who are looking for a slightly larger fish.
I want to talk about patient zero, per se.
Sure.
As much as we can, because we can't see where they're bred.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's all kept under wraps.
Yeah, because it's patented.
Can you talk about how the first
Yeah.
pair was?
Well,
chosen?
for these guys, the genes are already out there. So the first Glowfish, the very first Glowfish back in 20 years ago, they took 10,000 Daniel eggs, tried to genetically infuse the gene, the fluorescence gene. Out of 10,000, 2 eggs took. You breed that to a natural strain, and now a natural strain is carrying the gene. And then you continue to selectively bred until you can then get that out there. And then once you get that, the gene out there, then you can learn how to adapt it into other species. But yeah, there's no crossbreeding or inbreeding or anything like that.
Before you walk down there, I want to talk about this cool looking assembly reel, because I've never seen anything like this.
So this is our conveyor belt. So throughout the day, as we bag and tag fish, they go into different colored buckets. They're color coded. And on the screen back there, we have where everything is going, so everybody knows who goes where, so stuff doesn't get lost.
Okay.
It makes travel easier on the fish, right? They go in the bucket, and they're gently gliding down on the conveyor belt. Instead of somebody lugging them back and forth, it saves labor, time, and effort.
Yeah, they're just shaking the bags and everything.
Yeah, I mean, this way it's so much easier on to just slowly coast down here instead of, bouncing around as they're getting carried back and forth.
I love it. That's so cool looking. So let's skip all these right here.
Okay.
There's some angels right there. I've seen some cichlids.
You have shrimp,
Snails,
crabs,
Bloody Marys.
everything anybody could possibly want.
I'm hoping to take some home today.
Yeah, for sure. We'll
this.
set you up with that.
Got crystals, Amanos. Yeah, and then down here there were some snails. Oh yeah, the crystal.
You got
reds
more
right
crystals, yeah. There's.
Yes.
And we certainly got the clawed frogs, fan favorite, dwarf
Frogs.
frogs, yeah.
Now this is another gateway to the hobby right here.
Oh, absolutely.
The frogs.
With the dwarf frogs here, this is one of the first things I ever put in my aquariums when I was like 8, 9 years old as a little kid. I wanted something that could go with my fish, fully aquatic. I mean, it's definitely where people start into this.
Yeah.
This is another hobbyist fan favorite, the bamboo shrimp.
The bamboo.
Oh, they creep me out.
Filter feeders. They're just so giant.
They are. They look like something out of a science fiction horror movie to me, but they're really popular.
Yeah, wow. So why angels now?
So why angels? Because quite honestly, it's time to go with something bigger. It's something that's easy to breed, hardy, and genetically they can take the fluorescence gene because, my understanding is that, it has to be able to naturally develop within its own natural breeding, a gold or albino type morph. So the gold angels, you got the gold prostellas, you have the white skirt tetras, gold danios. That's what the gene adheres to. All gold skirt tetras look the same. All daniels look the same. But these guys, just in this sample size alone, each one of these, you could name and be able to pick out because like all other angelfish, they have their own individual characteristics. So you're going to get a difference. In one batch, you're going to get a variety of different looking specimens. It's not just a block of fish. So you're going to get distinction in there. And that's really going to be kind of the cherry on the top, if you will. I mean, this is going to be the showpiece of your aquarium.
Yeah, I stood in front of this tank for 5 minutes and I could already tell which ones are the dominant ones and which ones I like the most, and because they're finished type and their body.
Yeah, I mean, this is a project that a lot of painstaking care has gone into because we want to put something out there that people are going to be successful with. While there may be some negativity surrounding Glowfish from, some individuals, it's like, look, it doesn't do anybody any good to put something out there that's not going to do well. That's one of the questions I've gotten asked. How hardy are these in comparison to standard Florida race angels? And they're just as hardy. We don't see any losses on them. We haven't had any types of major health issues on them. Anything that you wouldn't see with other angelfish. You did say today is one of the busiest days. Yeah, I mean, normally if we were doing a video shoot like this, I'd try and do it on like a Friday afternoon or Saturday, but at least people get to see what it's like in real time. We are a working farm. I mean, this is. So there is no rhyme or reason because there's guppies over here, guppies way over there. There's cichlids. Yeah, so we spread them out on purpose because certain species of fish are going to be more susceptible to certain types of illness. So God forbid something breaks down a little bit. This way, you're not going to lose an entire crop, and you can more easily isolate and treat that way. And you're not going to cross-contaminate as easily.
Speaking of illnesses, you said you have a veterinarian.
We do. We have a full-time veterinarian on staff, as well as he has an assistant. They're here every day, and they go through and they check on everything, and anything that needs to get treated immediately gets, segregated. Stuff that we know is susceptible to certain stressors and illnesses, we do prophylactic treatments with those as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, we want the best, healthiest product going out to the customers, because it doesn't do us any good if the stuff goes out and doesn't do well for people,
Yeah, not a lot of fish farms can say they have a veterinarian on hand. Well,
no, I mean, that's something that we're really happy to be able to invest in, because the health of the fish is the most important thing to us.
How long has it taken for you to develop this strain?
This has been R&D for over 3 years. The number one question I'm getting asked already is like, when's the next color coming out? You're talking, our answer is always, it's later down the road. On average, between colors, it's usually 12 to 18 months, sometimes longer.
12 to 18 months?
Yeah. It could be longer. So
how does that start out? Like, these are pink now, but how does a blue one start out?
So same thing, you've got the fluorescence gene, and you go into, fusing that into the genetic breeding program. But because you want to focus on one color at a time to ensure quality, that's the best way to control everything, is only be focusing on one project at a time. Because if you want to do it haphazardly, we could do maybe throwing out purple and green and blue and having them all, and then all of a sudden you're getting cross-contamination. So
what happens when you put a pink one with a blue one?
As far as if they were to breed, the strain,
would you get wild?
The strain is so new, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you right now, in what we've seen in some of them, we've seen some started to develop the black barring.
Oh, okay.
Which who knows if they'll ever be something that is developed to be produced later.
Yeah.
But they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it's not like strip where you put a red one and a yellow together, you get a brown one.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I mean, lighting is everything in here too, because it's a warehouse.
Yeah, you don't know how many times I've been to a fish farm, there's no lighting whatsoever. I was like, I can't film this.
No, exactly. I mean, that's why we're not going to bother with the ponds, because all you're going to look at is mud and muck, and maybe you'll catch a fish swimming around here and there, but that's a nice thing, at least, and obviously the tanks, the glasses, it's going to be stained from water stains, but
it's Florida. You guys have hard water here.
Yes, we call it liquid concrete.
Yeah, liquid rock, liquid concrete.
Yeah, it is what it is, but everything is filtered, and we use purified water, so the fish acclimate very, very well.
And this is just one of the buildings. How many buildings do you have?
About 16.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through them all.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. I'm still learning the numbers, and I've been here for a couple of months now, and they're like, oh, it's over in building 5.
Like all the glowfish right here.
Yeah.
Cool. Isn't there a glowfish Oscar? No, huh?
So there was one that
there
was one that was developed overseas. Like knockoff technology, it didn't take. So
it didn't take.
No,
okay.
So there's ones that are being done overseas. So that's the thing with the glowfish. All the ones bred in the United States have to be FDA approved.
I was going to ask for that.
And patented.
How long is that process?
So it can take 6 to 12 months for a single color of a single species.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, the process can take quite a while, and you have to be in FDA approved and inspected facility in order to comply with that. And that's why we're the only ones in the U.S. who are currently producing the glowfish. The ones coming from overseas, a lot of them don't breed true, and they're not FDA approved. So that's
funny
why
that you can say that there's knockoff fish.
Yeah, they are technically counterfeits, because it's patented technology, so they're technically illegal. But there's not a whole lot of fish police. They're doing a whole lot about it. So,
if any. Okay, these vats look very familiar. They look like the Rick Bureau place.
Yes.
They're kind of coffin.
Yes,
and
that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
They're mausoleum vats. So very commonly used in the hobby and in the industry. Nice thing is they're very easy to sterilize, very easy to clean. Yeah, see, these are the purple glow sharks.
Look how much they stand out in a vat like this.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, no special lighting. Most of them are going to take out. There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
But now pair that do a couple different colors of sharks with some of the angels. That, I don't care who you are. That's a cool looking tank. Doesn't mean it's necessarily something I would keep, but I know a lot of people would.
Yeah, so I was brought here to just specifically film the angels, but I didn't realize how big a facility this was. This was just such a treat.
Well, I appreciate you coming out. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is, I mean, this is something I'm genuinely excited about.
I love
You know?
this hobby. Now I'm starting to get into saltwater because
Sure.
I'm starting to do a lot of saltwater stuff with reef fillers and such.
Okay.
Yeah, this is...
Well, it's the natural progression. I mean, I think that's how it always goes. I think most of us starting fresh and they work our way to salt. I did salt for years.
All right, I'm gonna let Dave get back to work here because he took a couple hours out of his day to walk me around the farm, but today's his most busiest day, so I'm gonna let him get back to work. So thank you so much, Dave.
Hey, thanks for coming out, man. This has been great.
Appreciate you. And if you're a store, you like to come out here, what's your address here?
So we're at 6507 Bobhead Road. Just give us a call and we'd love to schedule a tour.
All right, see you, Dave.
All right, take care.